All right, let's get started. So we would like to welcome you to, like I said, the SOE Hub's general advising session. So welcome. So in the SOE Hub, we have 4 advisors currently. Like I said, my name is Kim Loring. I'm one of the Hub advisors.
My name is Bulos Abdallah. I am also another advisor. Welcome to our presentation. Thanks for being here. So getting started, what we're going to be covering in today's presentation is a little bit about us, what we do as a team, what our roles are, and how you can take advantage of us all year long. We're going to take a peek at some of the major templates just to show you how to read them, how to go through them, and how to really understand them. We're also going to go into some of our transfer course policies and how those processes work. We're going to give you a little brief overview on how to register, how to log into SIS, how to read it, and where to go to add, drop, and make some adjustments to your schedule. And then finally, we're going to go over some of the important dates that should be circled on your calendar leading up to the start of the semester and beyond. So where are we located? Where is the SOE Hub? We are located in the Johnson Engineering Center, short for JEC. We're located on the 3rd floor. If you go down a very long hallway past the dean's office, you'll see what's called the Ansel Lounge. We are inside the Ansel Lounge. That's that blue shading there. Yep, thank you, Kim, for the mouse. If you go past the Ansel Lounge, you will find our offices. The window screen right there, that's actually where I sit. You can probably see it right behind me. That's where we are located. You're always welcome to come visit us. We would love to connect with you in person. So what do we do? What is the SOE Hub? So we are a group that we sit down with you, we give you academic and curricular advice. We are experienced advisors. We sit down with you for the first 2 semesters and we prepare you to connect with your faculty advisor after your first year here. So some majors have secondary advisors past your second year. For example, ECSC in Maine, you're going to have a faculty advisor, but you're also going to have a support squad of staff advisors that will sit down with you in case if you cannot reach your faculty advisor. So the SOE Hub is staffed by experienced advisors who offer academic support for all engineering majors for the first 2 semesters. Hub advisors assist students to determine their unique academic path through Rensselaer while fulfilling all their degree requirements. Cool, thanks, Kim. So there are 11 total engineering majors, not including the 2 extra ones that you might see on this page here. The 2 extra ones are pre-med biomedical engineering and undeclared engineering. What's good about all of our majors here, and Kim is going to go into a little bit more depth with the templates in the next slide, but a lot of the first 2 semesters for all of these majors are very similar. So what that might mean is if you sign in as a materials engineering major, but you're not really feeling it, or it's not really something that you thought you would really like and want to switch your major, you totally can, and you're not going to be falling behind depending on which you switch to. So there's a lot of advantages to being an engineering major here at RPI. And if you're unsure of how to take advantage of those advantages, come see us. We'd be more than happy to sit down with you and give you any sort of support that you might need.
All right, so this is the fun part. This is why you guys came here. So we're going to talk about what's the difference between the Excel template and the PDF that we have that shows the same information but is used for different reasons. So before I show you where to download it and like what you're going to be actually doing, I just want to clarify the differences. So right here is an example. It's the mechanical engineering curriculum on the PDF. And that's just a general overview, and you'll see all the footnotes. Obviously, it's not too clear on this presentation, but when you download the actual copy, obviously it's a lot easier to read. But you're looking at the general overview for the next 4 years. I tell students print it off, have it somewhere regular, just so you can kind of see, and if you need to compare it with other programs, it makes it a lot easier. The Excel template, obviously it's in Excel, so it's a different formatting. But the nice thing is you're able to edit it. And even if you don't have Excel on, you download it as the application on your computer, you do get OneDrive for free through RPI. You can download it through there and edit it that way. Um, and the nice thing is you get to move the classes around. We already formatted it for you. So if you're trying to calculate credit hours, if you're trying to see where classes normally are and where you can move them, it just makes it so much easier when you have to copy and paste. Again, this is a PDF of the general template. So if you don't have Adobe, it makes it a little bit more complicated. So that's the reason why we have those. You can use them as you would like, but both are tools and resources for you that we provide at the Hub. So let me bring this over. And right now you should see the screen for the SOE Hub's website. So hopefully this is not new to anyone. This is the resource that you want to use at this point while you're trying to plan classes. If you're trying to get general information, we make sure to update this daily. So as soon as we get an update, we put it on this website. So if you don't already have it bookmarked, please make sure you do so. And it's not only for when you first register here for the fall, it's continuous for the whole year. And even sometimes students will come back because we do house your documents here for the 4 years that you'll be here. So for the Hub, obviously we have our nice welcome for you guys. Down below, the webinar dates. So if you're here, you already have that information. If you need to watch a playback, we do have the recordings up there. And then also, most importantly, the drop-in hours. So if you have general questions or specific questions, I should say, anything that you have academic-wise, will be available during these times. You'll be able to sign up through this link. It'll bring you to a form, you complete it, and then we reach out to you via WebEx. And then if you want to see our pictures. Um, but mainly what we're going to go to is right here, welcome class of 2027. So what are we looking at? So this is general information, maybe you already got from FYE, the recommended to-do list, and then right here, how to create your fall schedule. Again, this is why we're here. So this button right here is the Excel spreadsheet that you saw that example of. So I'll show that in a second. I'm just going to briefly go through these buttons. Major templates, that's going to be that PDF that you saw again on that presentation. The Haas requirements, I'll go back to that one later. And then Quacks, it's going to be a non-sponsored schedule planner. We will go through an example of that as well. And then SIS, and that's where you register. So let's start with the template. Let me bring that up for you guys. So when you click on that, you'll be able to download it. I just figured it'd be a lot easier and less time consuming if I just downloaded it beforehand. But this is the beginning page. So what you want to look at is down here below. You'll see a bunch of tabs. Aero, BMed, BMed Pre-Med, so on and so forth. It goes all the way over. So if you already know what your major is, you can delete the rest of them. You don't need to keep all these. If you're undeclared or you're between maybe two majors, keep the ones that you're interested in. That way you can do comparison. So for this example today, I'm going to actually go over to Aero. So we can just briefly go through it. So like I said before, this is a nice breakdown. It already has the recommended classes that are on the major template PDF, but you can copy and paste and move everything around. And what's nice about this is if you start using it now and updating it, even with your transfer credit, because you do have that option to put it in there just so you can track it, and move classes around. In the spring semester, your second semester, you're going to have to meet for what we called a SAM meeting, student advising meeting, and you'll need a plan like this. So if you do it now, it kind of sets you up for later where you're only making little tweaks. So if you look at the schedule right here, providing that you don't have any transfer credit or none of these classes, I'm going to go off of I don't have transfer credit. So I'm going to be taking IEA, CAD, calculus, physics, and then a Haas inquiry class. So now how do I figure out when these are available? You can research them in SIS, but generally we have students go into their Quacks. So Quacks again is an informal, um, non-RPI sponsored program, but RPI students did develop it. It is updated every 15 minutes, so it's pretty accurate. So we always have you cross-reference this with SIS, but it makes building the schedule a lot easier. So I already put in those classes ahead of time. And how you do that, let me go to the home page. So it'll have everything listed out based on the department. So Haas right here, engineering, science, management, everything that you need. So on the example, we saw that we needed physics, calculus, IEA, CAD, and then a Haas class. So if you're looking to do that, I'll go over to physics. So you can look up classes if you're trying to see if there's other options. Um, you have to take the physics 1100 in this example. So if you look, I already clicked on it. So when it highlights in purple, that means it's been selected, unselect. And then if it conflicted with any of your other classes, because I do have other classes selected, it'll have a cross out or it'll be red. So right now, all these examples work for me. So if I want to see my schedule, I just go back up here. And if you look, this is one out of 1,976 schedules. So most likely you'll be able to find a schedule that works for you. Um, Obviously, it depends on the type of person you are. Sometimes people say, I don't want to be up in the morning. Sometimes that's not controllable. Sometimes it is. I did use the example in here for the Haas inquiry behind the TV screen. Any INQR class can fit in that place. And if you have questions about Haas, drop in for those advising hours so we can discuss it, help you determine which ones fit for you. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, definitely drop in and we'll have a conversation and go through that worksheet with you.
Hey Kim, not to cut you off here too. I just
Yeah.
wanted to note for everybody to keep an eye on. If you're registering for Physics 1, you're going to also need to register for what's called Physics 1960. It's a supplemental support class for Physics 1. It won't, so SIS won't let you register for Physics 1 without you registering for this. So they're going to be co-requisites. So just make sure that you find a CRN, make sure you find a class that fits into your schedule when you're messing around with Quacks and messing around with SIS.
That was a great tip, Bulos. Thanks for that. So I just added that in there, and as you can see, it still fits. We still have tons of schedules, so that doesn't affect it. Another note we want to make is we want to make sure we're in fall of 2023. We did have some students that by accidentally went into last year and they were wondering why there was no seats. If you do that, it's not going to work out. So just make sure you select the proper semester. But yeah, this should be generally it. Again, we're going through this quickly. So if you do have questions, if you want to work through it and then go to drop in hours, we can definitely look through it with you at that time. Poulos, do you have anything else you want to add before I move on to the next thing?
No, I think you got everything. I just want to reiterate too, just make sure if you're using Quacks, just make sure you're cross-referencing your classes that you find in SIS. And just know whatever you put in Quacks, it doesn't mean you officially registered for any of these classes because some students made that mistake last year. So use Quacks as kind of like a scrap piece of paper to put your schedule together and figure out what works best for you. Come up with a plan B or a plan C, so other options just in case if plan A doesn't work. And then take the CRNs and put them into SIS and then register for your classes in SIS.
Yes, the CRNs. So the CRNs are already provided in whatever sections that you choose. So the number right here, it's a 5-digit number. So later on, you'll kind of see in the example, you just take that in and you'll input it into SIS. And that way it pulls directly to that specific class because otherwise you got to search for physics and then find your section. So it takes a little bit of a longer time. So again, that CRN does help you out in the long run. I did want to go back just to the Excel spreadsheet one more time. So hypothetically, if you are ROTC, you will have additional credits that you have to take as a requirement. But we do recommend you still stick with the general schedule that you have. So while you might be at 17, 16 credit hours, 18 credit hours normally, the ROTC might put you at like 20. So in order to stay on path with the 4-year plan, you need to still take those classes. So yeah, I just wanted to make that general statement. Let me bring this back. We're going to go back to the Hub's website because this has everything. So we went through that. We went through Quacks. I'm going to go through, just show you really the Haas worksheet. And you can download this, you can edit it on Adobe, whatever works for you. But it's a checklist essentially of what you need for Haas, because for Haas, those are RPI requirements. You cannot get out of Haas requirements. So it'll go through a list of you need a Haas inquiry, 3 courses towards a pathway, communication intensive, and 4,000 level. In total, you need 5 Haas courses, 20 credit hours. If you transfer credits in, that could go towards Haas, but it depends on the pathway if you wanted to try. Again, drop in for advising so we can kind of look at that credit with you and discuss it further. And then actually, I will go back to our presentation. So that was just the general overview of the process. That's our main focus today, is not necessarily like your specific program, but how do you go about deciding the classes, which program, what are your resources? Okay, so we went over Quacks, so I'll skip that. So now we're going to go about how to kind of get ready in SIS. So if you haven't already created a SIS account, you should do it because your time ticket is there. So your time ticket is the time and day that your registration has opened. So general registration is the 25th through the 25th of July to August 1st. So depending on your time ticket, you might be at 9 a.m. on the 25th, you might be at 4 p.m. It'll all be inside of SIS under your student menu. Um, but when it comes to looking at classes and getting holds, these are a few steps that you can follow to make sure you're good to go. So log in through SIS, you're going to go to your student menu, and you want to view any holds. So mainly the financial responsibility agreement that tends to hold students up. As long as you have that clear and you're good to go, you should be able to do all the other functions. So for class, under that student menu, you'll see right here is class search. And that's where we were talking about referencing Quacks and SIS, just to make sure everything's good to go. So when you're doing that, you again want to make sure you're choosing the proper semester. So fall 2023, and then this is the website that will pop up. You get to choose your subject and the course number. And then once you hit enter, it'll bring up the classes. So an example right here, they have the Haas inquiry courses. Um, this is notated that C means closed. So if you ever see that, that means there's no more spots left in it. That doesn't mean necessarily later on during another registration period you couldn't get in it, but for that time period, it is closed. You want to be aware of the cap amount. This one's kind of zeroed out, so it's not the best example, but you'll see all the different cap, the remaining, the active. And then over here, you saw me go through the worksheet real quick for Haas. This is where it explains if it's a Haas inquiry and or communication intensive. So if you're ever wondering about it, you can find it through the class search function. Haas does have those different classes listed on their website as well. So there is information out there. If you're confused about it, reach out to us and we're happy to help you. So some classes unfortunately do have restrictions to it for specific majors. If you want to view that, you'll click into the actual class and then on the bottom of it, it'll say what the restrictions are. So INQR, the Haas Inquiry courses, are for freshmen only, which is why we say you need to take it during your freshman year. So you'll see that restriction for those classes. There may be additional ones for certain classes as well, but again, just make sure you're checking that.
So two things really quick. Quacks will not show you what the restrictions are, so keep that in mind. But also, Quacks may tell you that there are a few seats open, and then you'll put that on your schedule. But when you go to register for that class in SIS, it'll probably be closed. So just keep that in mind that it does work pretty quick. Just don't be discouraged. That's why you're going to have a couple of different options in Quacks, like your plan B and plan C. So you might have to act on those backup plans just to be safe. But I just wanted to kind of point that out, just in case if you run into that issue.
Yes, absolutely. I don't think I touched on having a plan A through D. But if you do, if you want a certain course, obviously you can go into different sections if that one doesn't work and the other sections work. But yeah, sometimes you do have to choose other classes in general. So just have a good lineup. That way you don't have to rush around the day of scheduling your classes. So again, the CRNs are coming back into play. So you did your plan in Quacks, you got your plans, you have your 4 different plans that you want to do. Now you have those CRNs lined up. So all you have to do is submit them. So instead of searching everyone, you can just put in the CRN and it'll make it a lot easier for you to get into those classes. So when you do that, you might get, depending on if there's a conflict, you might get an error message and it will say why. So this example says time conflict and it has the CRN number. So you would cross-reference it with your CRNs and the classes you just inputted. Um, Sometimes you have to register for different classes if it's not going to fit. But if you did it in Quacks, it shouldn't have that issue. Um, but if you do run into that issue and you're confused on why it happened, reach out. Again, that's what we're here for as your advisors. Um, and then once you hit submit, say you don't get the error, you want to go back in to view your weekly schedule, day and time. That's just to make sure that you click the submit button. Believe it or not, people forget to click submit sometimes. Just make sure you submit it, review your schedule. That way it's what you want. You will have another registration period open back up before classes begin, but we just want to make sure that you get into the classes that you want as soon as possible.
Cool. Thanks, Kim. Also, if anybody has any questions, please feel free to drop them in the chat. We will be going over those questions at the end. So don't be afraid to ask away. We're gonna we're gonna transition into the transfer credit process and just kind of give you a brief overview of how that works and what to expect. For this slide, I am gonna work from right to left. So I'll go over the Cambridge A-level exams. As long as you earned an A or a B on any test, you're going to need to request a transcript and you're going to need to have that sent directly to RPI's registrar's office for that to be processed and transferred over. If you have any IB credits or international baccalaureate credits, you're going to need to have a 6 or a 7 on any of those exams. And then same thing, you're going to need to request those scores be sent directly to RPI's registrar's office in order for those to transfer over. The most popular credit that we see are AP credits or advanced placement credits. They are a little bit more complicated just because of the 2 different categories that they're split in. One category is Haas, and the other category is the math, science, and engineering. For Haas courses, or for Haas credits to be transferred over, you need to have earned a 4 or a 5 on those exams for them to be transferred over to RPI. However, for the math, science, and engineering, you're going to need to have a 5 on those courses for those to transfer. And same thing as Cambridge A and IB credit level, you're going to need to request those scores be sent directly to RPI's registrar's office for those to officially transfer over to your transcript to your RPI. So a couple of things to also note about your transfer credits. So you can have dual enrollment credits transferred to RPI. So what dual enrollment credits are, if you took any sort of college level class while you were in high school, you can have those classes transferred here to RPI as long as you had a C minus or better. Keep in mind that these classes must not go, or they must not count towards your high school diploma. They have to be strictly separated to be just for college level courses in order for them to transfer to RPI. So there's a specific form. It's kind of a long title, but the form is called the Incoming Freshman Transfer Credit Procedure / High School Certification Form. What you're going to need for that form is a signature from your your guidance counselor at your high school, and then they're going to have to send that directly to the registrar's office. The email address isn't on here. I'm pretty sure, and correct me if I'm wrong, guys, it's transfercredit@rpi.edu. That's the email address that you're going to want to send or have them send that form to after they sign it. The transfer summer credit, it's a little bit different. So if you are wanting to take a class over the summer, so let's fast forward to summer of 2024. If you want to take a class over the summer, like a calculus or a physics, you are going to need to find a class at another school, whether it's a university, college, or community college. Find a course that meets RPI's requirements, and then you can have that class transferred to RPI as long as you have a C minus or better. This form is differently. It's called the transfer credit approval form. You're going to need a signature from your academic advisor. It could be any one of us. And you're also going to need a signature from the department head of the school that that class belongs in. So for example, if it's a math or a science class, you're going to need a signature from the associate dean from the School of Science here at RPI in order for that form to be approved. Once your class is over, same thing as before, you're going to need to request an official transcript be sent directly from the school to RPI's registrar's office for those credits to be approved and sent over.
One thing to add, even if you took, Louis spoke about you taking it next summer, even if you're taking credit at another institution this summer, so after high school completed, you're just decided to take a class, you can still go through that transfer credit approval process to see if it'll transfer in as credit. It's not very common, but if you decide to do so, we'll help you through that process.
Thanks, Kim. So when should you have your credit transferred in by? So the official registrar policy here at RPI is for first-time freshmen, you're required to complete all AP, IB, or Cambridge A-level dual enrollment credit requests by the end of your first year to be considered for transfer. However, our recommendation is get them all in ASAP. Don't wait. Try to get them in before the school year starts, because once August 28th hits, once the first day of classes hits, you're just not going to want to focus on anything other than your classes and your homework. And you're going to hopefully be developing some really strong study habits where you're not going to be focused on any of this extra stuff. So make sure if you have any credits, make sure you have them all in submitted to the registrar now. Don't wait on that. And if you're looking for any more, additional information, um, go to the registrar's website. That link is right there on the bottom. There's some really helpful language on that website that you might be able to use in case if none of this stuff is totally clear for you.
Also, we just completed a transfer credit webinar on Monday, and the recording is on our website. So if you have more in-depth questions, go watch that because we go in about, I think about 25 minutes, 30 minutes into the whole process and what to look for. So check that out as well.
So some important dates to keep in mind and have on your calendar. So your time tickets should have already been sent to you. So as Kim was saying earlier, log into your SIS account. There's going to be a key. I think it's the second option from the top. It says check registration dates, I believe. If you click on that link, it'll tell you exactly the day, the time that your registration period opens. So you should all have that right now. If you don't, please get in touch with any one of us and we will look into that case for you. The consultation period is currently happening right now. We have drop-in hours every Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays from 9 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Freshman registration window is going to be open from July 25th to August 1st. You are going to have some time to mess around with your schedules after the August 1st period and before your classes start. There's going to be a waiting period after August 1st and whenever that date is going to be, just for some things to settle from behind the scenes for the registrar to kind of mess around with. First day of classes, this is huge, August 28th. Please don't miss any classes on your first day. The add deadline is a couple of weeks into the semester. So what that means is if you couldn't get into a class that was closed that you really wanted to get into, there might be an opportunity for you to still register for that class because someone may have dropped out of that class. Um, and then finally, the drop deadline is going to be August 20th, 7 to 8 weeks into the semester. So you still have chances to drop classes. You just won't be able to add any. So keep that in mind. Why should anybody drop a course? Well, if you're thinking that you're not going to pass the class, or if it's just not the right class for you, it's not a good fit for your schedule, not a good fit for your 4-year plan, dropping a class might be the best option for you. Just keep in mind you want to stay above 12 credits to be a full-time student. So if you feel like you're going to run into some issues, please get in touch with your advisor and we'll sit down with you and we'll connect with you and we'll make sure that you're making the best decision for yourself and for your time here at RPI. So awesome. That wraps up our presentation. Um, More than happy to stay on the line for a little bit extra, maybe in the next 10, 20 minutes, taking all of your questions. I don't see any questions in the chat at the moment. So if you have any questions, please feel free to throw them in the chat right now. And we're happy to take those questions. Other than that, thank you very much for being here. Really appreciate it. We're really excited to welcome you.
I think we still don't have any questions, so that's okay. If you think of any questions, please reach out to us. Come for drop-in hours. Um, to clarify, I think below said Monday, Wednesday, Friday every week. They're a little bit different for next week, so just make sure you check on the website. All our days and times are there with the sign-up sheet. If there's any additional updates, everything will be there. We're really good about updating it every day or as needed. But again, thank you so much for coming, and we look forward to working with everyone.
Oh, we actually have a question.
Oh,
So you need a communication intensive Haas class and an inquiry Haas class. Can one class count as both, or are they separate? So the answer to that question is yes. There are a ton of inquiry INQR classes that are both Haas inquiry and communication intensive. So you might be able to knock out both in one go. But just keep an eye on that. So when you do the class search feature in SIS, it'll tell you all the way in the right column if it's a communication intensive and or a Haas inquiry class as well. So just keep an eye on that. And if you're still unsure, you can always shoot us an email or send us a message and we'll help you identify those classes for you. Thank you for your question. Happy to take any additional questions. Yeah, of course. Thank you.
all right. Well, we'll let you all go. Like Lewis has been saying, I've been saying, we look forward to working with you. Let us know if you have any additional questions.